It's a weird time to be a Jew in America. One might assume that the biggest threat to American Jews would look like this, or this. So why are elected officials and the mainstream media and even some American Jewish institutions constantly telling us that the biggest threat to Jews looks like this? Hi, I'm not Francesca Fiorentini, and today we're going to discuss how the right-wing narrative of left-wing anti-Semitism is used to uphold white supremacy. We're going to have some fun. Anti-Semitism is on the rise in America. Jews were the direct target of half of all extremist homicides last year. Right-wing extremists were responsible for the Tree of Life synagogue shooting, the Poway synagogue shooting, and to add insult to injury, Mel Gibson is not only back doing movies, but he's reportedly doing a biopic on the Jewish banking family, the Rothschilds, who, if you Google, you'll find nothing but conspiracy theories about. That's insane. It would be like if the next season of Planet Earth was narrated by a flat earther. The emperor penguin must avoid the hungry leopard seal who guards the edge of the earth, which is actually shaped like a plate because NASA lies to you. There seems to be a strange pattern around the narrative of anti-Semitism in the media. Every time there's an anti-Semitic attack, people will cover the white supremacist anti-Semitism responsible for it for a couple of days, followed by weeks of, well, have you heard about left-wing anti-Semitism though?
And the rise of anti-Semitism and bigotry inside the Democratic Party.
In Democratic circles, anti-Semitism is becoming normal.
Anti-Zionism, anti-Semitism of some parts of the left, that seems a lot closer to the heart of the Democratic Party than to the heart of the Republican Party.
I'm sorry. We gotta go. I'm getting counted down, you guys, but that was a really cheery segment, so thanks a lot. Both sides are horrible.
Mostly your side, though. In our Newsbroke episode about why anti-Semites love Israel, which you should watch next, I explain how the right wing has effectively changed the definition of anti-Semitism from hatred of Jews to criticism of Israel, making it incredibly easy to accuse people who advocate for Palestinian rights of anti-Semitism. Remember, arguing against Israeli policy is not anti-Semitic. If it was, that would make literally every Jewish family get-together a hate crime. Hello? Is this the ADL? Yes, I would like to report my grandson! In this episode, we're going beyond that and looking at how the right-wing scare tactics around Israel are being used to divide American Jews, create distrust of anti-racist organizing, target black and brown people, distract from the occupation, and ultimately weaken efforts against real anti-Semitism. Oh yeah, the propaganda around Israel is a whole damn espresso machine of intolerance. So would you like 2 shots of Islamophobia or just all anti-black? First, we need to look at who the right wing is accusing of anti-Semitism. Let's start with Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, the first 2 Muslim women ever elected to the US House of Representatives, with Tlaib being the first Palestinian American congresswoman ever. They both have been accused of using anti-Semitic tropes, or old Jewish stereotypes used to denigrate Jews for centuries, mostly through bad faith readings of their tweets. First, Omar was attacked for questioning Israel's influence on American politicians, tweeting, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby."
Ilhan Omar's tweet was seen as using anti-Semitic tropes.
It's a historic anti-Semitic trope.
It's all about the Benjamins, a known anti-Semitic trope.
Is it? Does Diddy know? Someone should tell Diddy. Then, when Representative Tlaib tweeted about a Senate bill that would restrict Americans' rights to boycott Israel, and Omar called out the Israel lobby's influence, they were both accused of using the dual loyalty trope, the idea that Jews are more loyal to Israel than the nation they currently live in.
Rashida Tlaib waltzed into this trope herself, this idea of dual loyalty.
And then there was Omar's unearthed 2012 tweet in which she said, "Israel has hypnotized the world," which was met with this.
An elected U.S. member of Congress suggesting, quote, evil Jews were hypnotizing the world.
Hypnotized by Israel's sort of anti-Semitic tropes she keeps trotting out.
Okay, here's the thing. Jewish hypnosis is not one of our tropes. We have a lot of tropes, okay, but that's not one of them. At best, it's a deep cut, right next to Jewish double dipping or Jewish road rage. Like, why are we making up new stereotypes to hate Jews with? I saw a Jew jaywalking the other day. Typical. Here's the thing though, neither Omar nor Tlaib's critiques say one word about Jews. They specifically mention Israel. When Omar's talking about the Benjamins, she's not saying Jewish money, she's talking about the incredibly well-funded Israel lobby, which in 2018 spent over $22 million on lobbying and contributions, and which receives money from, yes, some Jews, but also from evangelical Christian groups, who would really like it if we'd all just moved to Israel already. Honestly, I don't want to move to Israel, okay? I've already done ketamine in Tel Aviv. Been there, done that. I'm over it. Accusing American politicians of being more loyal to lobbyists than their own constituents is not an anti-Semitic trope. It's literally the stump speech of anyone who has run for president ever. But when it comes to the Israel lobby, it's automatically assumed to be a trope. But here's the thing though, dual loyalty is exactly what the Israeli establishment, pro-Israel American institutions, the right wing, and yes, many in the Democratic Party are constantly demanding from American Jews. My dad demands this as well. Chuck Schumer helped pass an anti-BDS bill making it legal for states to prosecute companies for boycotting Israel, and then said this at the AIPAC conference this year.
I will always stand with Israel against those who seek to do her harm by boycott or by any other means. And we will fight to protect the Jewish people here in America and in the state of Israel, in America and in Israel.
But what about protecting Jewish people in America who want to boycott Israel? Drafting bills criminalizing our right to boycott and claiming it's what American Jews want is straight up imposing dual loyalty onto American Jews. That would be like making it illegal to boycott Olive Garden by saying, we must fight for our Italian American brothers and sisters and their insatiable need for unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. We must show them that in America, when you're here, you're family. American Jews who don't fall in line behind pro-Israel candidates are met with attacks on their loyalty and even attacks on their Jewishness.
The question I'm most often asked is why Jews vote leftist. The answer is simple. The vast majority of Jews don't care about Judaism or Israel. They care about secular leftism, which is their actual religion.
I'm Ben Shapiro, Jew police. And then there's Trump, who is constantly conflating Jews with Israel, even going so far as to call Benjamin Netanyahu your prime minister in a room full of American Jews. Despite a long history of doing tropes himself, he jumped at the chance to paint himself as deeply offended by Omar and Talib's supposed use of tropes.
The squad. We don't like when they talk about evil Jews.
Representative Ilhan Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
Yeah, nothing says I hate bigotry like a crowd full of people chanting "send her back." I love how Trump always finds the opportunity to be racist even when he's supposedly condemning racism. Ilhan Omar hates Jews because of the extra muscle in her calf, the one that helps her jump so high. Trump's vendetta against the squad just kept ramping up until he finally used his presidential tweeting powers to ask Netanyahu not to let them into Israel, a move which went too far even for the pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. And then when asked to defend himself, Trump made it clear that I and the other 70% of American Jews who didn't vote for him should be more grateful. Wait, was grateful the word?
And I think any Jewish people that vote for a Democrat, I think it shows either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty.
He said loyalty, dual loyalty. Send him back, send him back, send him. Where's everyone? Wait, was he talking about Jews being disloyal to him or Israel? Because it might not be anti-Semitic. I mean, I don't want to do like a bad faith reading of what he was saying.
I think that if you vote for a Democrat, you're very disloyal to Israel and to the Jewish people.
Okay, well, again, he didn't say that Jews are disloyal to Israel if they vote Democrat, so there's a chance he's not including Jews in that statement?
If Jews vote for Democrats, are they being disloyal to Israel? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'd say so, yeah.
Tie. The crazy thing is, Trump doesn't think he's being anti-Semitic because he's just saying out loud what the pro-Israel establishment has been signaling for decades, that Israel is the only thing Jews care about if they are indeed good Jews. He's got the brain of a really honest 6-year-old telling his mom, I don't know what daddy's talking about, you clearly gained weight. In Trump's mind, he is being loyal to American Jews by being staunchly pro-Israel, but in reality, neither Trump nor Israel are loyal to American Jews. They're loyal to each other. The Israeli government has defended Trump every time the American Jewish community calls him out on his anti-Semitism. Like after the Tree of Life shooting, when Jewish groups protested Trump's visit to Pittsburgh, the Israeli Minister of Diaspora Affairs, Naftali Bennett, took the time not only to defend Trump, but throw shade at American Jews, saying, President Trump is a true friend of the state of Israel and to the Jewish people. With President Trump, we never have to worry if he has our backs. Bennett and Trump are clearly a perfect fit because they both say friend when they mean arms dealer. But it makes sense. The Israeli government is happy to support an American president who deals in anti-Semitism so long as he helps further their project of subjugating the Palestinian people. But what's in it for Trump and the rest of them? If they don't actually care about anti-Semitism, why do they spend so much time and energy trying to smear others as anti-Semitic? Well, if you have a keen eye, you may have noticed a very subtle pattern regarding many of the people the right labels as anti-Semitic. It's very subtle. While the right seems to be immune from accusations of anti-Semitism, being accused of left-wing anti-Semitism while female, black, brown, or Muslim actually has consequences. Take Mark Lamont Hill, a now former CNN commentator who used the phrase "from the river to the sea" during a 22-minute speech at the UN speaking out for Palestinian human rights.
Free Palestine from the river to the sea. That's right out of a Hamas script that calls for the annihilation of Israel.
Yeah, but it doesn't though. If you actually look into the history of that phrase, it isn't actually a call to drive Jews into the Mediterranean. It's simply a common saying from the Palestinians longing for a unified country again instead of something that looks like this. But of course, CNN couldn't be bothered to deal with the whole context thing. You know, it's only their f***ing job. It was just easier to fire Hill. And then there's civil rights activist and icon Angela Davis, who won a prestigious civil rights award and then had it rescinded last minute due to her pro-BDS stance. Now, she did end up getting the award in the end, but imagine giving someone an award for civil rights activism and then taking it away because she's still doing civil rights activism. That's like taking away Miss America's crown because she actually did accomplish world peace. And it's not just individual activists getting smeared. Sometimes it's the entire movement. For example, Black Lives Matter is constantly being attacked for their support of BDS and their solidarity with Palestinians.
Black Lives Matter, a group that just a couple of weeks ago launched an entire anti-Israel platform.
I care about Black lives. I've devoted my life to protecting Black lives, but I will not support the organization Black Lives Matter because I have zero tolerance for anti-Semitism.
Honestly, I cannot look at that man's face without thinking about that clip where he denies having sex with any of Jeffrey Epstein's underage girls by claiming that he has a perfect
sex life.
Hell yeah. Go off, King. The right has even called activists protesting the ICE camps anti-Semitic. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called them concentration camps, which prompted Stephen Miller, the only Jew I know who says Jew with a hard J, to say this.
I'm a Jew, as an American Jew. I am profoundly outraged by the comments from Ocasio-Cortez. It is a historical smear. It is a sinful comment. It minimizes the death of 6 million of my Jewish brothers and sisters. It minimizes their suffering.
Your existence minimizes their suffering, dude. I'm pretty sure Stephen Miller's uncle called the ADL on him. Hello, is this the ADL? I'd like to report my nephew! The pro-Israel establishment has been using the fear of anti-Semitism to stop American Jews from supporting the very people and movements that are actively fighting against perpetrators of anti-Semitic hate crimes in America. People who are fighting white supremacy, people who are fighting for our rights to boycott, people who are fighting to abolish concentration camps. They want us to feel unsafe in left spaces, unsafe on college campuses with activists who are fighting for the civil rights and equality for Palestinians because they've convinced us that a criticism of Israel is an attack on Jews. To take the bait that the right is dangling in front of us, to believe their claims of left anti-Semitism, is not just counterproductive to dismantling anti-Semitism, but actively upholds white supremacy. And to be honest, it worked for a long time. I mean, I used to be very wary of anyone who criticized Israel, especially if they weren't Jewish. But if the last 3 years has shown us anything, it's that white supremacy has always been the biggest threat to Jews in America. Omar and Lieb don't scare me. Criticism of Israeli policy doesn't scare me. The people shouting, "Send her back," scare the bejesus out of me, or the bemoses. Thankfully, more and more people are starting to understand that criticism of Israeli policy is not automatically anti-Semitism, which is why every time the right smears an Israel critic as anti-Semitic, they now preface it with, "Of course you can criticize Israel, but..."
You can criticize Israel, you can believe Israel is wrong on everything, but when
you can criticize Israel, no country is perfect, that's definitely for sure, but
we can have conversations all day long about how you feel about Palestinian politics, how you feel about Israeli politics, how you feel about Netanyahu,
but we never end up having that conversation, do we? Because it only takes one bad faith reading of a critique to claim anti-Semitism and derail the entire conversation. Also, did Meghan McCain just say Netanyahu? I think she's confusing Netanyahu and Nosferatu, which means that she just confused a Jew with a blood-sucking vampire. Blood-sucking is an anti-Semitic trope referring to the fear that Jews bake their matzah with Christian blood. Therefore, Meghan McCain is an anti-Semite. See how easy that is? Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching Newsbroke on AJ+. My name is Matt Lieb. Follow me on Twitter @MattLieb, and also follow me on Instagram @MattLiebJokes. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and go in the comment section and tell me what conversation should we be having about anti-Semitism and about Israel, and are concerns about anti-Semitism preventing you from speaking up about the plight of Palestinians? And check us out next week. I'll be hosting again next week, so sorry. Francesca will be back, but next week we're talking about universal basic income, or UBI. Yang Gang is gonna hate me.